Okay, y'all. I accidentally pressed the wrong button. My apologies. All right, we'll pick right back up where we left off here on the carburetor. Okay, got the middle section cleaned up. I was talking about this right here just a little bit. Yes, I did a little porting here, just a little practice work. This actually works really nice. I don't know if it makes any difference in power, but hey, it looks great. Okay, and it's a nice little bit of practice whenever you start porting cylinder heads. So, okay, now I've got me a clean place set up here. Okay, there's my clean center section to the carburetor, all cleaned up. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to clean this part here. All right, we'll go ahead and get started by removing all of the dirt dauber nest right there. Or y'all might call it a mud wasp or something like that. I don't know. But anyway, let's see. I've already sprayed this thing down with a little bit of cleaner. I'll just reuse some of what I've already sprayed out. Now, a lot of these procedures I'm showing you right now, this is the same thing you're going to be doing when you go to rebuild the carburetor with all new gaskets and everything like that. The only reason I'm not doing the full-on rebuild right now is because this carburetor wasn't that old. The rebuild on this carburetor wasn't that old when we parked the Ramcharger. It only been used maybe a couple of years, and then it got parked. So all right, so basically more of the same here. Just want to clean up all the passages. Make sure there's no blockages, no dirt, no crud, no filth, no goop, anything that could like be a problem. You want to make sure and clean all of that out. Okay. Old gas can cause some serious problems. Make sure to clean it all out. Make sure to get it out. If you don't, you can be looking at some serious problems later. Okay. So, all right. This isn't bad. So, okay. All right. My accelerator pump linkage and all of that, I'm not going to bother with taking this all apart. This is working exceptionally well. It's not sticking or nothing like that, so that's great. I'm just going to do a little brush down, clean it up, just like I did everything else. I'll show you the results. Be right back in a minute. Okay, y'all, I'm back. Got the top section cleaned up. There we go. One word of caution. These, one word of caution here. Let me get the camera up. Okay. These needles, they do bend very easily. They're just brass, so yeah, don't be rough with them. Okay. Another word of caution. Have yourself a fan going in your garage or wherever you're doing this. Okay, the fumes from all of this stuff can sometimes be a little overwhelming. So next, gonna clean the venturis and some of this stuff here, some of the screws and stuff like that, and get all of that just cleaned up, tidied up here real quick, and then we'll get it. Let's see. Just some of the stuff you just have to hit it a little bit with the carburetor cleaner, and it's fine. Okay, so you see the fuel comes into these venturis from the jets through this. Oops, let me show you what I'm talking about. Yeah, comes into the jets and comes into the venturis through these holes right here, okay? Those two holes. So that's how that works. And of course, this, just like the rest of the carburetor, clean, clean, clean. Want to make sure to get everything just spick and span. That way there's no issues, no problems. All right, I'm going to clean this up a little bit go the extra effort a little bit here. Not going to see probably not going to see any improvement anywhere, but you know, again, just going a little bit further extra effort to clean this up, get some of the corrosion off where this thing's been sitting. For those of you who don't know, the Ramcharger has been sitting for several years, and I just wanted the carburetor cleaned up because it's been sitting all that time, and all of that old gas and everything's just been in there causing all kinds of problems. Now these right here, this assembly here, this goes on top of that, okay? Or it goes down in there like so. And what it does is this is part of your part of the vent or air metering, okay? So what I'm trying to do here is just clean this out again. Simple, simple, simple. Boring, but simple. So this stuff is part of the air metering, you know. That's the thing with the carburetor. Once you get the fuel going out, you got to have air to come in to displace the air, the fuel going into the engine. I think somebody said it really well once, that carburetors are a controlled leak, organized leak. I think that's pretty accurate. As you can see here in this tray, this is the crud that came off the carburetor. This tray wasn't all that dirty before I started. So there you go. All right, jets are next. Just a little spritz. They're good to go. Oh, remember that little funky screw right there. Yeah, I told you to be careful with those. They can break. Just clean them up real quick. Okay. Shoot them there a little bit. See how that comes out there? So make sure those are clean. All right. The rest of this, cleaning the rest of this is kind of boring. But I'm going to clean the rest of this up. I'm going to pause this, and then we'll get back to me assembling this. So I'll be right back. Not much longer. Okay, y'all. All right. Everything's cleaned up, looking good. I've went ahead and started the assembly process by going ahead and locating my little check balls. There's two. Okay. You got the smaller one goes here. The larger one goes right here. This will be under the accelerator pump. Okay. Let's see. I think I'm going to go ahead and put the jets in next. Get them over here. You notice I got this towel laying here to kind of keep up with stuff. So if something, I happen to accidentally turn the carburetor over and these little check balls roll out, I can keep up with them and they don't roll over into the floor and I lose them. Okay, so do yourself a huge favor. Go ahead and do that. Now, when you're putting the jets in, patience. When you're doing any of this, patience is the key. But make sure that your screwdriver covers at least most of the jet. Okay? But also, don't run it down in there very, very tight. Run it down in there where it's snug. That's all you need. Okay? Now, let's see. Next, I'm going to go ahead and put my floats in. And let's see. And the needle and seat. I'll get this gasket for that fitting, oil it up. So here's my needle and seat assembly. There we go. Now you notice I didn't take the rod out right there. It's kind of rusted in place and I didn't want to like beat it and bang it out and possibly destroy the floats. I didn't see a point. Also, make sure you don't put this in upside down just like I did. Easy mistake to make though. Okay. All right. Now this tab right here is what you'll be adjusting. That little tab that my thumb's touching right there. That's what you'll be adjusting to adjust your float setting. Okay. And let's see, next, the little spring clip that goes in there. So you could tweak these just a little bit. That way they stay in there and they hold themselves in there. Next, I'm going to be working with the Venturis. Okay, this, I left the gasket on there, but I still was able to clean everything real good, so that's great. Put a little oil on the gasket right here. The oil being in the carburetor will not hurt anything. Okay? No real problems there, so don't fret over it. Nothing to worry about there. Okay? So the oil also helps keep the gasket in place when you're putting stuff together, which is pretty nice. Now, move on to the little hollow screws here. Run them down. You notice I'm not using any power tools to do any of this. I don't really want to. It's not necessary. Oh, another thing. When you're using the carb cleaner, brake parts cleaner, anything like that, go ahead and get yourself some safety glasses. Okay? They're not expensive, and it just keeps that stuff out of your eyes when you're doing this work. Okay? Alrighty. Now, I've already talked about the check balls, and I've already put one of them in, and I probably should have just left it out, this big one. So, I took it out because I need to adjust my floats. Now, what you do is you usually pull your finger up on the floats like that, and then you measure, okay? These are sitting down a little bit low. But take a little measurement here. I think they're sitting a little low. You want to make sure that they're both set the same from side to side, not. Okay, so I think these will be okay. Those look pretty good to me. So put the check ball back in. Oh, doggone it. Still jumping ahead of myself just a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and put the bottom portion on here. Okay, so we just need our bottom gasket. So there we go. Okay. Yep, there we go. Our throttle plate, throttle body, whatever you want to call it. Go ahead and got that. Get that thing put on there. Yeah. Okay, get all my screws over here. All the larger screws. Now remember, your smaller screws are going to go in this plate right here that goes to the top. Okay, so yeah, they're going to go in there like that. Your smaller screws are. Your larger screws, and remember, I just keep these two right here like so. That way I don't have to keep up with them. So All right. I got to get something. I'll be right back. Okay, y'all. I'm back. All right. I went ahead and put some anti-seize on a lot of these screws here that are going to be going into the carburetor body, because you have a steel screw going into a magnesium, zinc, or even aluminum body. There can be some dissimilar metal corrosion that going on there, so that's something you need to be completely aware of. Okay. Also, something else. If you look here, there is what's known, I'll open it up here. See those little slots? Those little straight up and down slots? Those, let's see, those little slots, they need to be square, about like how they are right now. Okay? I'm going to try to get a little better light on here so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, I hope you can see what I'm talking about, but there's some, when I open this up, they're just little slots. Okay? Yeah, you see them? You see those slots now? Now when I close this, they're just going to become little squares. That's basically what you want. Okay? So, now also too, the metering screws, the idle metering screws, we're going to back them out 1.5 to 2 turns. So, here we go. We're going to count. There's half, there's 1, there's another half. So here's half, 1, there's a half. So, there we go. Now I can go ahead and put this on the bottom of the carburetor. So, this carburetor, because of this spring right here on the main shaft, that pretty much tells me that this is probably mid to late 70s, maybe even up into the 80s. Okay. All right, so now there we go. All right, bottom portion is on. Now we're going to just move on to the upper air horn, choke horn. All right, so I've got the gasket there for that. Just set that on there like so. Okay. Okay, yeah, that looks great. I'm really liking that. But what I really need to do is I need to set this gasket on here first. On the choke horn. Now I got it upside down. So, okay, no big deal. Just flip her over. Okay. Now, got that flipped over. Oh, this plunger diaphragm here is neoprene. And it's not cracked. Looks to be in good shape. I'm going to take a chance on it. Okay. Spring. Yep. Goes down there in the well for this vacuum plunger. I'm calling it a vacuum plunger, even though the vacuum's not that big of a factor on its operation. Okay. All right. Oh, one more little detail. Ah, yes, there we are. Well, check valve goes underneath the accelerator pump. Flip this over. Here we go. Line up your back screws here. At least that's what I do. Now, getting the accelerator pump in place is not that difficult. Getting everything in place can be difficult. This is where you need to have patience. These metering rods okay. You just got to be patient. You got to wiggle it around just a little bit. You got to be patient. You got to move your metering rods around and move them up and down like that right there. Make sure they're not stuck. Okay, these aren't, so those are great. All right, next, just the screws for the main body. There's 4 shorter ones here. Tell you what, I have one that's just a little bit longer than the rest of them, so it's going to go over here where I know it's an open hole there. All right, let me run these down and then I'll show you the finalization here. Okay, be right back. Okay, y'all, I've got all of the top portion screws in. This choke cam here, I've got to get the linkage in, and so the best way to do that is to go, just take it off completely. You'll notice that the end of this rod is made kind of funny. It's made a certain way, and it goes in a certain way into this choke cam is made just so that this will go in there, and then it's held in there. It's retained in there. Okay, it's actually pretty smart little thinking. So then next, I'm going to hook that in there like so. Then I'm going to put my screw in there. Now if it comes out, don't worry, it's not a big deal. You can get it back in later. Okay, but okay. Just run that screw down. Just want to make sure that that can move on its own. Get the little clip, put it on. There we go. That part's done. That's my choke linkage. Now next, just this cover and its gasket goes like so. Yeah, there we go. And then the 3 little tiny screws, tiny compared to the rest of them anyway, that's on this carburetor. Okay. All right, those parts are done. Let's go ahead and hook up the choke pull off right there. And then this last little connecting rod right here, this link bar. Just goes in there like so. Right there. All right. Now, I'm going to find the clip that goes on here, find another one, but in the meantime, I'm going to put that clip on there, and then I'm calling it an evening. Okay. Let me give you a little example of the clips that can be used on that, okay, so that you're not like completely in the dark. Got a whole big container of them here. All right. Let's see. Where would they be in here? Ah, I see one. Okay. Yeah. See? All kinds of clips like that. If you have a magnet tray to keep up with these, when you take them off of your carburetor, even better. But anyway, like I said before, I'm gonna put that clip on, and then I'm calling it an evening. So thank you very much for watching. I do appreciate all of your views and the thumbs ups and the subscriptions and everything else. The subscribers, I really do appreciate that. If you have any questions about this or any other videos, just, you know what to do. Put them down below, and I will do my very best to answer your questions, okay? Thank you very much, and God bless, and have a great one.